screeching, blistering siren song of a great television show has introduced us. This is the BoobTube Boys back with more Batman Beyond. I am pleased to return to this show because it's got the best intro and some of the best music I've ever heard.
It's a bit of a divisive point on the podcast.
Well, it may or may not be in direct. I'm trying to contradict what you and, this is Brian Vaughn I'm speaking to, that you and Van have gone rogue and said that there are some things about this show that we're covering Batman Beyond that you don't like. Is that correct?
I'm going out on a limb, but there are some aspects of Batman Beyond the Kids WB show that didn't work for me.
Okay. What about you, Van?
I believe that Mr. Freeze's favorite political play starring Bryan Cranston is Frost Nixon is cold.
This is another one of those things where what you just created is a thing that I very much want to exist.
Somebody turn up the heat.
And Bryan Cranston is playing Richard Nixon? Is that what?
Frankly, Angela in the movie.
Well, yeah, but now we've got Bryan Cranston doing it, so I'm all for this.
No, I think I just messed it up because on an episode of Jeopardy recently, I learned that Bryan Cranston played LBJ in a play.
Oh, yes.
So I might have mixed those up.
Okay, no, I thought you were suggesting a whole different thing, and I was like, okay, let's try it.
A question I had about
watch
Bryan Cranston's LBJ performance is as follows. Did he ever bring it out?
Whip out Jumbo, you're saying?
If not, it's not a true story.
Yeah.
It's not based off the real LBJ.
Also weird that he would be in a movie about Dalton Trumbo and in a play about LB Jumbo.
Did you know that there is a YouTube video out there, or I should say, there is an audio recording out there of LBJ, actual Lyndon Baines Johnson, calling up a tailor, to make him a pair of pants. And he says to the tailor, it's too tight in the crotch. So can you loosen up it a bit?
Let the dick out.
Yeah. And that's a real thing. You can go listen to that.
That's great.
I was struck because not that long ago that I really have heard any actual audio of LBJ in it. So I didn't know that much about him. You can't get more of like a rootin' tootin' Texan than that guy. He didn't even try to sound more sophisticated or cultured or anything. That was just who he was.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little bit disarming. You would think a president would owe more to the country than that.
Big old dick.
Would you, though? Because at this point, we've got a pretty bad
That's kind of what I was kind of hoping
that
that would come out a little bit. Well, Batman Beyond is the show we're here to talk about today. We did one episode last week that was Meltdown, and now we're going to do another one that's called Eyewitness.
Meltdown famously had a villain who was cold. Mr. Doctor?
No, it's just Mr.
He's Dr. Victor Freeze, but
just
when
Mr.
he's a
Freeze,
villain, he's
which
just
is interesting.
He loses his credentials
He's
as a
almost
villain.
like demoting himself. He's like, I'm not a doctor now, I'm just a villain.
You think he did it? I think like the bar or whatever, but for doctors said, sorry, you can't have your certification.
Okay, it's like you
anymore.
can't be a doctor if you're going to be that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, being a doctor is your vacation home. You get to be that part of the year, but when you're gallivanting around committing crimes, we're not going to let you do it under our association.
Well, what if he's like, okay, fine, I'm going to go back into medical school as Mr. Freeze and then get my doctorate? Then they'd have to be
That's
like, all
the
right,
loophole.
Dr. Freeze.
They'd say it. There's nothing in the rule book that prevents this. Well, that's one of the villains we had last week. I wanted to quiz you guys on some Batman villains.
Ooh.
Because there are a ton.
I know at least 8.
I bet I'll do okay.
Yeah.
Between comics, between the TV shows, movies.
You guys hadn't heard of Dr. Phosphorus, though, so I know a little bit more than you guys, I think.
There's this one comic panel of the Joker, and he says something about his boner to Batman. Because, a boner was a goof way back when.
Sure,
but,
like the growing
Merkel's
pains
boner.
Like the growing pains boner.
Yep, not that anymore. So now it's just the Joker talking about his likely white painted
And
dick.
what does Batman think about that? Is he mad?
He probably said something like, "Where are they?" Or tell me about the rabbits. No.
Tell me about the Joker.
Yeah, that's it.
Tell me everything you know about the Joker.
What are his favorite foods?
That's what it sounds like. He's just trying to get to know him better.
I need to buy him a gift.
You guys are going to work together in this game, as you do in many games that we've done on this podcast, to tell me if these Batman villains are real or if I made them up, if they're not really in Batman. First one I've got is Bane.
But Bane's real.
Yeah,
we know
played
this
by
one.
Tom Hardy.
We've established that is real. How about Owlman?
Owlman?
Yeah.
I don't think so. Although that is in the Watchmen. Isn't that the owl guy?
I don't think his name is Owlman, though, is it?
Should be.
No, that sounds like a one you made up.
I'll go with that.
It's real.
That's real?
Yeah.
Owlman.
I don't know how.
What's he do? Does he just like poop pellets that you dissect?
And his head turns
We
around.
did establish earlier that an owl is a bird of prey, so I guess it's somewhat scary.
And
Sure.
it can rap.
Yeah, that's also true.
That's true.
Ricky the Dragon Steamboat.
No. No.
Was that a wrestler?
Yeah, he's a real wrestler.
Okay, I thought
But
so.
then again, did they do a crossover thing?
No, I'm not doing
gimmicky?
anything like that. Yeah,
Okay.
this is all above board. As above board as this gets.
Okay, so no, that is a
So
wrestler.
no, that is in fact a
So we're
wrestler.
2 of 3 so far.
You're 2 of 3. Osteoarthritis.
Well, it's the real villain that takes him down in Batman 3, the Christian Bale stuff.
I felt a little bit of that villain in my hand just a little bit ago, actually, when I was holding my phone in the same position too long. But I don't think Batman ever fights him.
No, only metaphorically. Bad Samaritan.
That sounds like a Bible man thing. Like he would be right there with the cheater.
But it does sound like something like when Batman was created in the 40s or whatever, like Stan Lee's sitting there shitting out villains, like he would come up with Bad Samaritan. I could see it, but I'm leaning no because it's a Brian thing.
Yeah.
It is real.
It is real?
It's just one of the best ones.
That's a good one.
Okay, the big bank robber.
That's his name? The Big Bank Robber? Now, does he rob big banks or is he a really big robber who robs banks?
I'm assuming he is.
Who's to
big.
say not both?
Yeah, there's
no.
special.
I say no.
Like the banks for the big and tall people. Like how they have this clothing store. They also have a bank.
You have
like
to go
that.
to us the big and tall part of town.
Everything there is that. No, I don't think that's real either. I agree with Van.
No, that one's not real. But what about Johnny Stitches?
Ooh, what do you think his gimmick is? He has like knives
He's
or
hurt.
he is a doctor and he's good at suturing?
I feel like it's just weird enough to be real, though. What do you think?
Man, my inclination is to say no, but I will go with yours.
Okay.
So let's say real.
I'll go with yours next
It's
time.
real, but what about Clayface?
Clayface is real.
Yeah, I
know that
feel
one.
like we've
What
talked
a
about
great
Clayface
name.
before.
Okay, fine.
I think he's made of clay.
Man Bat. Is that real?
That is real.
Yep, that
I
is
didn't know that
also
one.
I don't know much about it. I just know it's real.
Is it like the Superman, how he's got the Bizarro Superman thing or whatever?
I don't know. I bet it is, though. Okay, Top Cat.
No, I think he's just a snarky cat who maybe solves crimes.
I think he's educated.
Oh, he's educated.
He might be.
He has a hat on. I know that.
Yeah, that.
So
Well,
there is a Top Cat?
yeah, not in Batman.
Oh, okay.
Hanna-Barbera.
Oh, I should know that then. Hanna-Barbera experts here on the Boot Boys.
Birthday Boy.
No, right? No.
I've never heard of Batman being against birthdays. So if so, he's a real asshole. If he's like, fuck you, birthday boy, I'm
What
gonna
if
punch
he's
you.
Jehovah's Witness and they don't celebrate birthdays, so
True,
he's
and
against
he just
them?
kind of has a birthday bias out of the gate. You know, he doesn't think of age in that way.
I'll tell you what, though, at least once a year, Batman himself is the birthday boy.
I don't think he celebrates it though.
No.
There's no way.
Yeah, that's real.
That's
Really?
real?
Birthday Boy.
I was definitely thinking no on that.
What's it's his birthday. Why is he mad? Why is he a villain?
I bet you he has a mastery of candles.
And frosting.
Mr. Toad.
No.
That's
It's
an
from Tog and
actual
Frog.
yeah, that's an
Frog and... what did I say? Tog and Frog?
your brain scrambled it. Yeah, it's perfect. That is a character, but not in Batman.
Apparently, he also is in Batman, whatever that is. I didn't know about any of this.
Also, there's the Toad, or just Toad, from X-Men and Super Mario.
Of course. Dorf.
No.
Okay. The Joker's sister, the Japester.
Sure. I like that. I think it's real.
Okay. We'll go real.
Not real.
Ah, damn it.
They should have done that. Missed opportunity.
They really, really should have. Wellington Wentworth Jr. I'm sorry, Wetworth Jr. This will be important.
Hold on, one more. Wellington?
Wellington Wentworth Jr.
I like it.
We're going
I
real?
think it happened.
Okay, let's go real.
No, it's one of the Snorks.
Oh,
Yeah, but that's why Wetworth.
what do they do?
They have
They're just Smurfs underwater.
blowhole type things and they're underwater.
Okay.
Yeah. I think they're blue.
All right, you get to pick the next couple because I've hijacked that and been wrong.
Just a couple more here. Ratcatcher.
Real, I think.
Sounds real.
Let's
It
go
is
real.
real. I tried to pick the ones that were real that sounded most like I might say them
Yeah,
to some
'cause
degree.
how is that? That's a villain? Or is
Yeah.
So why is he a villain? He's catching rats.
I don't know.
Maybe he's catching the good rats.
You're going to have to ask him.
The rats who do good for
The
society.
rats who are trying to save Gotham.
Cozy Clam.
No, because if it's a clam, what can a clam ever be? No.
Cozy?
Ultimate mouth, but no, not a
Or
villain.
Pearls of Wisdom.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did make that up. That's true. Scoot McNairy.
I don't think
That's
so.
an actor.
That is a real actor. Vindictive Jennifer.
No way.
I wouldn't think.
No.
Bob Kane might have been like, yeah, Vindictive Jennifer, though. Maybe that was his first idea, and they're like, well, let's put Batman in this instead.
No, I did make that up. And we'll close on one more. Gunhawk.
I hope so.
That's pretty cool. Could be a hawk that shoots guns. Could be a hawk with guns for feet. Could be a guy who just likes hawks and guns.
So we had the owl that was the bird of prey that was real earlier. Do we think we'd also introduce a hawk with a gun?
I bet they do, because bat, bird, Catwoman, all that shit.
We're going real.
It is real. I think you guys did remarkably well because this was one of the tougher ones to evaluate.
I think we got like about 12 of 18.
It's all nonsense. So, I mean, it is a tougher line to see through.
Good for us.
Good job, everyone.
So those are some of the villains that are and aren't in Batman.
What was your favorite one to write?
Well, honestly, the big bank robber. I don't know why. That was a thing that sounded so dumb that I just couldn't get it out of my head when I started.
I should have checked. Unfortunately, in this one, unlike Blight, the last one, I didn't look to see if the villain in this one is actually in Batman history, but we have one in this episode who I've never heard of before. I don't know if you guys had Spellbinder.
No,
never heard of him.
I did get a kick out of him, though, when he shows up.
Sure.
He doesn't really do much. He's just kind of shoehorned in the final 2 minutes. We're like, how do we wrap this up?
Writhes around with an orb.
Oh, he does a lot. You just don't see it.
That's true. He might be impacting us right now.
He's a real Rick Thomas.
Right over here.
So this is season 2, episode 14, Eyewitness. And this was also a January airing, January 22nd of 2000. So about exactly a year after our last one.
And we know we're safe from Y2K.
Yeah, we have survived.
We're on the other side of that. It's, of course, 40 years in the past and Gotham's in this show.
And
so
basically now, in reality.
Was the millennium before the 1900s or is it the 2000s? Is
the way he talked about it makes me think it didn't start until 2000.
Okay, so 2000 to 2099 or whatever, that's the millennium.
Yeah, okay. I think 2999. I mean, I think we're
that's right.
Stuck in this thing.
It's terrible.
None of us will survive the millennium.
I don't want to.
He might.
The synopsis of this one, when Commissioner Barbara Gordon, that's so controversial, I almost said it the way so controversial. So how does he say it? I appreciate it if you didn't.
Controversy.
It's impossible for a normal person to just say controversy.
When Commissioner Barbara Gordon, who is, what's his first name? The other guy, Jim?
Batman.
Batman Gordon.
Yeah.
Commissioner Jim Gordon is the normal guy. This is his daughter. She sees Batman committing murder and initiates an all-out manhunt for him while Bruce Wayne investigates what really happened. And I'm adding this as my own spice here because, of course, Batman would never murder anybody, even though that's always a big drama and a lot of the content around him is Batman going rogue, being evil, doing bad things when he wouldn't do that. He's Batman. I says Spellbinders in this one. He's voiced by, in his one line, which I made a clip of because I wanted it in here, voiced by John Cipher. He didn't do anything that we're going to talk about.
His name is John Cipher?
That sounds like a Batman villain just by itself.
He had cool credits, but it was all old stuff that we wouldn't know anything about. I almost wrote it down like in the style of the last one where I found something interesting about each one of the 4 that were special in that episode. None of these guys really have that, so I didn't really keep that up. As I mentioned in the intro, Barbara Gordon is voiced by Stockard Channing in this. And that's because the first 2 seasons, that's who did Barbara Gordon. The 3rd season, of course, it's someone different.
And she had like a big film career.
She was Rizzo from Grease.
Yeah.
Apparently. I didn't see Grease, but she was in that.
I did. It's one of the many movies I saw during middle school music class.
And then we have Mad Stan, who I guess counts as a villain.
Hell yeah.
He is voiced by Henry Rollins.
Yeah, and embodied, basically.
Yes, it just is Henry Rollins.
Henry Rollins, who, kind of a figure of my childhood who I was like, this guy's cool. I hope that he still is. I hope that he hasn't.
His IMDb profile, I don't know if
he's
commissioned
probably beating up a fucking monster.
I don't know who wrote it, but it has a tone that I'm not fond of. Something about like, when you describe Henry Rollins, you might want to say this, this, and this. None of that's true. And it's just got a real sort of douchey tone. I hate it.
I don't think any famous person has written anything.
Probably not. I wouldn't think. And then we have Mary McGinnis in this one. That's actually Terry's mom, who has just one real quick scene. She is voiced by Terry Garr, who is Inga from Young Frankenstein. I'm sure that means a lot to you guys. That's it. That's the 4 special ones in this episode. Of course, Mad Stan is really what this episode's all about, honestly.
And he's not something one can get under control easily.
He's mad.
I was getting ready to say, well, how would you describe him? I mean, his name kind of does that.
Well, let's get right into this episode, which once again, Eyewitness. This one, we got our special intro that I think you guys already said all you wanted to say about that one last time, right?
Yeah, it sucks.
Bunch of noises and things.
The part with Bugs Bunny eating a carrot I did like.
How'd you like the part where it said, like, greed?
Yeah, pollution.
It really struck me this time. Not last time.
It got
this
around
time
to
it did. I didn't even notice that was in there, honestly.
Sewage, bad guys.
Stink.
What's funny, too, is I was actually watching these intros with more intention of noticing things and still didn't notice that you keep bringing up. I didn't see those words in there at all.
There's a bunch of, like, numbers.
I just don't think I can do it.
They're nothing. The numbers don't equal. They're supposed to be like coordinates, but they are nothing. They're just gibberish numbers.
Well, do you think maybe your kid brain would have been like, that's cool?
I'd be like, holy fuck, it's going all over the globe.
No, this must mean something.
So after our intro, this one also opens with some kind of a truck delivering things.
Is that just what happens every episode? It's just a truck unloading evil
Batman
stuff.
Beyond delivery or something.
Batman : docks.
Batman : Amazon shipping.
So this truck is pulling into a warehouse late at night as the rain patters down on Gotham around us. One of those times that I actually looked at the scene they set and was like, that works, that's cool. Batman is on the scene, of course, and suspects something's up here. He checks in quickly with Bruce. Again, a mainstay of these episodes. He's always on his radio with Bruce Wayne, 7-year-old Bruce Wayne.
What do I do, surrogate daddy?
Did you guys, as like 17-year-olds in high school, constantly radio a 7-year-old man for everything you were doing in life?
Yeah.
It might make sense for you a little bit.
Only when I was wearing the costume.
And Terry is here. Terry McGinnis is in Batman costume at the moment.
Hey, laddie, it's Terry McGinnis.
Bruce tells him, hey, be careful. That's pretty much all he has to say.
Oh, that's super useful.
And inside, a little transaction's taking place here. And I didn't want to unpack all this too close because I didn't really know how to describe a lot of what's happening. But really, it's just this mean-looking bald villain with a bunch of goons and a guy with a backwards hat who's cool trying to sell him merchandise we don't know.
It's in the truck. We know that.
It's something cool. And the bald villain guy says, hey, let me see the merchandise. And the cool guy with the backwards hat says, cash first. One of the goons hands the man a credit card with cash on the front.
Cash.
It says cash.
This is like one of those new Monopoly ones.
Oh, yeah, where you can banker with the thing, which I don't like because that like eliminates my job. Because I was always a banker playing Monopoly.
Technology, man.
It took our jobs.
Just like the AI now.
It even took my fake game jobs.
So then our merchant slides this cash card into a little scanny device that apparently reports the balance of a card.
It'll probably be a good amount of money, but not an absurd amount, right?
$700 million.
Chump change.
Exactly,
for the year
by
2040.
the way. No cents or anything, just an even $700 million in there.
It's a real Birdemic move.
The man is very pleased about this and begins to he begins to reveal this merchandise. But he can't quite do it because Batman's like, I'm getting in on this shit.
Buzzkill.
He jumps down there from above and does the Batman stuff where he is attacking from above and everyone's scared and they're trying to shoot him and they can't. And he's flying around with his cape and kicking.
It goes on for some time.
It's a long time. They shoot at him and they can't hit him. And, you know, the general idea, if you're a kid and you're watching that, you're probably like, this is cool. That's why I watch Batman Beyond. It's the usual sudden attacks, like I said, and then just some gadgets, flying, kicking. Batman says, deal's over, which is his big quip as he snatches the credit card away and continues beating everyone up. The man with the merchandise says, stop it, you're ruining everything. And Batman says, yeah, that's what I do. And meanwhile, the bad guys are making their escape in a car. There's probably a lot of stuff that happened between what I just said and that, but
no, not
that's
really.
My eyes glossed over.
That's what I had.
Animated fight sequences are my credits.
Yeah, and I also have. They're also my credits. Like, I mean, I just couldn't really. I was trying to stop and be like, okay, what happened there? And then I just quit.
Nothing really happened there.
It's a bunch
what
of
is
that.
he good Batman gonna fucking lose? No.
The bad guys are making their best attempt to escape, and they're firing their guns on the way out. And in the middle of all of this, when you don't really know what's going on and who's attacking who, those stormtrooper police officers come back and they're on the scene all of a sudden, firing onto the goons as they make their way back to the world. So this is kind of weird. You're thinking, like, why is Batman's little private operation also involving cops? Why? This is weird. It's then that Commissioner Barbara Gordon appears and orders the stormtroopers to hold their fire. Then we learn that the merchant with the backwards hat was actually an undercover agent posing as the man with the merchandise. And
this is a great cover because the whole time I was like, this guy's too cool to be
he can't be a cop. And that's when he informs Commissioner Gordon. Batman blew the whole sting.
He fucked it up.
Batman says, oh shit, I'm sorry. And Commissioner Gordon says, sorry, he's not going to cut it, pal, and leaves.
There's something funny about Batman being like, oh man, I messed up.
I guess that's where it effectively, not on purpose, I'm sure, but shows him as just being a dumb teenager. He's like, fuck, I'm sorry, I'm a kid.
Oh, I was over anxious and butted in where I didn't need to. That's one of the problems with being Batman.
I like this new Batman voice. It's good.
Like, it sounds like Professor Frink in The Simpsons.
It kind of does.
At Wayne Manor, Commissioner Gordon's having a meeting with Bruce Wayne about Terry McGinnis and his stupid sting-ruining ways.
They didn't appreciate this. I would like to sit at the table and have a crumpet.
I would too.
Yeah, you can tell they were just doing it because they have something to talk about and you can't just go right into it, which is the thing I hate about the world.
Crumpets, though, kind of underrated.
I haven't had one.
I've had like 2 ever, and they're good.
Is it like a scone? Because scones are good.
Yeah, basically, but there's like a crunchiness or something. That
Yeah, it's basically a biscuit, but it's better than a biscuit.
Yeah.
I believe you. I mean, that sounds like a thing that's delicious. And Bruce Wayne actually opens the scene by talking about how good they are, and he wishes he had the recipe for tea cakes or something. And
I thought that too. I thought, yeah, me too, Bruce. And then I patted my chest twice and pointed at my screen in solidarity.
The Commissioner Gordon's making the small talk with him, and then it's actually Bruce Wayne. He says, okay, we've done what we need to do. Tell me why you're really here. Commissioner Gordon says,
Rude.
Batman fucked up. And the sting that we did, that he ruined, it was 12 months. I don't know why you wouldn't just say it was a year. But she said it was 12 months in the making. People gave their lives for this sting, and Batman just comes in there and fucks it up.
It's almost like Batman was hot-heading around. That's right. I haven't done that in a long time.
We haven't heard of hot-heading in a bit.
Bruce says he's still learning. He's a kid. Barbara says he's hot-heading around. And she says, I checked on him. He spent 3 months in juvie.
What?
Oh, no.
Do you want to know what he really did? He defended Dana, his girlfriend, from bad guys.
I hate the good guy's bad backstory is that he was a good guy. Get out of here with that. Come up with something new.
They wouldn't make him do anything actually bad, though.
But even borderline.
He was jaywalking or something. I don't know.
Superheroes are guys in job interviews who said, my worst trait is that I'm too good at work.
I try too hard. It reminded me of Con Air, how Nicolas Cage's character kills the people accidentally, but defending his wife's honor.
Yeah, that rules.
But that worked because of how campy it was.
Because the whole time I'm looking at that like, this is stupid. I don't look at his hair blow in the wind as it. Why is it slow motion? I guess that was probably the peak of Nicolas Cage beauty, if you will.
I was all about him by that. When Con Air came out, I was like, I got to see this fucking movie.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jerry Bruckheimer.
Oh, man, I'm glad that lightning hit that tree. Isn't that the logo thing at the beginning for Jerry?
Yeah, it is. I had the same association. Barbara says, look, just don't let this happen again. He was in juvie. He's a hothead. He's fucking up. Don't let him do it anymore. Bruce and Barbara share a meaningful look as the scene fades. Next, we join a campaign event for Gotham's district attorney, who I looked this up because it doesn't say his name here, Jim Young, who just so happens to be Commissioner Gordon's husband.
Isn't that the guy from Father Knows Best? Robert Young.
Yeah, that's
Jim's
the actor.
His character name. Okay.
Jim Anderson, right, in the actual show.
I mixed up the most boring ass names.
As Barbara delivers a rousing speech to the crowd about how much her husband has done for the city of Gotham and how much they have to do to give him their support if he's to continue to serve the needs of the city, we meet Mad Stan, who interrupts the speech in this fashion.
Serve the needs of the special interest fat cats, you mean?
Yes,
yeah.
I love the
Are you
music
guys
in there
in?
on purpose.
The second this started happening, I looked up from whatever it was my eyes had glazed over to because Batman Beyond was playing, and I went, okay, you caught my attention.
Now I'm watching, and you didn't even realize
my
it,
language.
but you had broken a glass bottle and you were holding up in the air the jagged edge. You didn't even know you were doing that. That's how incited you were.
When you say corporate fat cats and how they're bad, you got me, man.
Commissioner Gordon's response to when he says that is perfect. Like she's like this prim old lady.
Oh, he
like,
figured us out.
How could he say that? So with this one-liner out of the way, the action music starts up, and you heard the beginning of it there in that clip, and Mad Stan pins Commissioner Gordon against the wall.
And let's get it out there. Mad Stan is fucking
He's
huge.
jacked.
He is jacked. He's like real Henry Rollins at this time.
He only does, I guess, the two things, which is blow buildings up and work out. Like he's pretty much his whole life.
I guess if you like divide your life in that way and you prioritize, if you have run a tight schedule, you could be that good at blowing up buildings and being ripped.
Yeah, that's what he does.
And I guarantee he has a manifesto, so you also have to put writing in there.
Yeah.
He's got a busy slate.
This is like if I don't know, like John Cena was like, I also want to become a bomber.
Do they have any anarchist wrestler people types?
There was Nails.
Sort of Dean Ambrose.
Yeah.
But not really.
No, not really. They should.
Seems like an opportunity.
They have a mad bomber, who bombs people in the middle of the ring.
For the sake of verisimilitude, they do it.
Yes.
It's worth mentioning that while Mad Stan is pinning Commissioner Gordon against the wall, he's also beating up security. He's just whomping up all these goons and, good goons.
With one arm. One huge arm.
They're like Secret Service bodyguard types in suits, and he beats the shit out of them and screams about how the whole political system is corrupt, and then detonates a bomb that goes off at both exits.
Money ruling everything. And the whole time, I'm just nodding, punching holes in my wall.
So this is the big pivotal point in Batman Beyond in the series, where it's no longer Batman Beyond, it's Mad Stan now. And he's the hero. Batman is the villain.
Spencer, why didn't you mention in our intro episode last week how the show, the reason it ran so short of a time was it turned into the Mad Stan show?
Mad Stan is either this guy, this
Yeah.
anarchist who blows shit up, or a guy who, like Jim Cramer, has his own like stock show that is toothless
Just
and
an old
boring.
crotchety man.
It's one of the two things.
But it is way funnier that it's like a younger, muscular person named Stan.
Stan, yeah.
Mad Stan.
Now, do you call Stanley the cat that?
No, he's never mad.
I
That's
gotta
true.
tell you, there's a chance I might want to just start doing that for fun.
Especially
if he's
when he
being
has his
rambunctious.
wild periods, yeah.
Because he is a bit of an anarchist, despite his polite demeanor.
Well, I mean, if you're that color, you kind of have to, you have to be a firebrand.
He's
of
fiery,
sorts.
yeah. It's
creamy.
an orange boy.
Mm-hmm. Well, he hasn't learned to make bombs yet.
I don't think he'll figure that one out. I just pictured Stan looking like a little Che Guevara.
Or like any cat trying to explain the nuances of bomb making to their little faces. So he's detonated both exits, rubble around both exits. He's blown up places. They're not getting out of here. He's sealed. The only way is out of the room. And he says, it's all about the money, like Brian was talking about. And he's going to stop it by taking out all the big money.
Kind of much like capitalism has detonated an unrest in the proletariat.
Only way to get it back is to detonate it back. With one big blast, he says. Commissioner Gordon trying to call for help this whole time, just wildly pressing on her little emergency button. Mad Stan says, don't even worry, Commissioner Gordon. I got the whole room wired and no one's getting out of here. You can call whoever you want.
Just don't call me late for dinner. I may be mad, but I enjoy my protein.
And I need it if I'm going to lift weights 8 hours a day and sing for Black Flag.
Well, it's time for Batman to appear now.
Boo.
He's just in time to keep Mad Stan from actually hurting anyone or doing anything wrong, because he's started to and he's screamed, but Batman comes at just the right time to keep Mad Stan from being someone who's actually hurt someone. It helps like that he didn't quite get to any part of that. He just yelled a bunch of things.
Hurt people hurt people.
Well, it's true.
I think Stan's been hurt, you guys. By the system.
The two wrestle for quite a while. And in the process of this, Mad Stan says some more stuff like Batman's a stinking establishment flunky and tells everyone they're infected with disease of bureaucracy.
They are.
And just as Mad Stan starts promising to administer the cure, which is, I guess, bullet grenades, Batman destroys the guns with his boomerangs. We're going to be using a lot of those boomerangs in this episode. So
no boluses,
to that.
though.
No.
I didn't know about, or did I? Did I know Batman had boomerangs?
He does, yeah.
Batmarang.
Maybe I know because I've played some of the video games and you have a Batman boomerang that you throw around all the time.
Didn't know if it was like a...
I don't know if he uses it
in
the movies. I can't think of any.
I'm sure he does. Which games have you played?
Just
the Arkham Asylum things, right?
That one in Arkham Asylum and Arkham City.
And then there's a third one.
There's a third.
Right?
I didn't play it, though.
Yeah, I haven't played. I played the first one, didn't get very far. I got stuck on a thing, couldn't figure out how to get past it, and just never played it again.
The story of me with so many games.
Yeah.
I mean, it's what you think it is, though. It gets pretty old pretty fast. So Mad Stan runs away with Batman hot in his heels. Explosions, I couldn't really figure out how, but explosions are going off all around the building. Batman has a showdown with Mad Stan in the parking garage level.
I think it's possible some of the fixtures in the building were exploding preemptively just to avoid Mad Stan running into them.
Before Madstan can set off the big demolition charge he has with him on the parking level, and it's just some kind of big nuke, Batman hits him in the face with a flying kick and deactivates it. Madstan says, you know what, you may have beaten me now, man, but you know I'll get out eventually, and when I do, I'll finish this job. It's at this point in the episode where Batman says, no, you won't, I'm going to kill you. Picks up the nuke that he's disarmed and beats him in the head repeatedly with it until he's dead.
Which I thought, okay.
Cool.
No, I didn't really, obviously, I'm sure none of us did think that this had happened, but the presentation of it's okay for like a, whoa, didn't even expect it to look like that.
And the idea of Batman bludgeoning someone to death with a nuclear thing, okay, all right, you've got my attention.
It's maybe believable considering we saw in the last episode where he's throwing the nuclear waste at the guy, at the bad guy to stop him. It's like, maybe he would.
Barrel bludgeoning is one of the few ways I think you could take Mad Stan out in the first place. I do like Mad Stan's initial retort after being caught, which is, I'm just going to try it again.
Do you know who gets barrel bludgeoned the most? Kremlings.
Yeah, they do. Any of those K. Rool lackeys.
Mm-hmm.
And K. Rool himself.
He has a crown.
Who gave him that? It looks gross.
It's one of those, what do they call it?
Like plunder?
Monarchies where it's through the familial line.
So he's like an inbred lizard.
Yes, you don't necessarily do anything to earn your royal position.
So what I'm thinking here, and this has all kinds of meaning you guys can think about, is crowns are never Shit, I fucked it up. Crowns are, I'm making this up on the fly, so bear with me. Crowns are never given, they're taken.
That's right.
That
oh,
is
man.
True. When you think about the blood on King K. Rool's hands, claws, it really is astonishing. The lands he's conquered in the name of lizard imperialism. That's why I'm not fucking calling it K. Rool Day anymore.
I should mention, by the way, that the entire time Batman's been fighting Mad Stan in the parking level, Commissioner Gordon's just been there watching.
Just kind of keeping an eye on it.
She was just kind of observing, and then until she sees Batman kill him, then she's like, what the fuck, Batman? And then she's like, no, stop, and shoots him a bunch of times. Batman appears to be kind of caught in her sights, but her police force people catch up to her and say, Commissioner Gordon, and she looks over just long enough for Batman to get out of there.
I wish she would say, Commissioner Gordon was my dad's name. You can call me Barbara. You know, because like a lot of times in comics, a male character might say that about his dad. It'd be kind of cool. Also, it's a dumb thing to say. I don't really want that. Not a bone. You know what? Not going to die on this hill.
You've really run the gamut of emotions of that comment.
That's because I'm Brian the Analyzer, or whatever name I gave myself an hour ago.
Matthew Lesko.
We do, by the way, get confirmation that Mad Stan is dead. It's really happened. He's dead. That's not something she imagined at all.
Bonked to death.
Commissioner Gordon says, well, I'll have to put an end to that. And they say, to what? And she says, Batman. We cut to Terry in civilian clothing, returning home for the night, doing whatever dumb teenage thing he was doing, which is murder. But as he enters the hallway leading to his apartment door...
Teens these days.
Like those rapscallion murderers.
The teens these days aren't content with having parties and drinking booze. They kill.
Because of the parties and booze.
Yeah.
This is a Growing Pains episode now.
We haven't talked about this yet. The art style, I was kind of surprised how much it, to me, kind of recalls anime a little bit. Like
yeah, a little bit.
The sharp feature.
It is distinctive.
And in Terry especially, I think it's kind of prevalent. You kind of see him here in this scene really good.
Yeah, that's a close-up of him. And this is the one time where we see his mom, or not really, but she's the only scene she's in this episode, his mom, Mary. And that's all we really know about her. But she's talking to the police officers, and she says, I don't know where he is. Why? What do you want with him? We don't really know exactly what becomes of that, but Terry has heard enough to know that something isn't right, and he scampers away before anyone can spot him.
I mean, even Batman does not trust the cops.
In the Wayne Cave, which I guess is all we can really call this, Barbara appears to confront Bruce when he's sitting in front of his giant monitor and says, I came all the way here again to tell you, Batman's bad. And Barbara orders Bruce to turn Terry in the first chance he gets. Bruce says, you know what would happen if I do that, Barbara? That will reveal his secret. My secret. Your secret. And Barbara's like, I know, but you have to do that.
Gotta respect Barbara for this one. She's willing to go down too.
Yeah, she just figures that's the right thing. She's like, do you think I don't know that? My husband's running for DA. Jim Young, you should
My dad's
your support.
Gary Oldman.
She says, secrets are no fun. Secrets hurt someone.
Yeah, she's done with that. And she says, we just need to all be honest about what's happened and turn in the murderous Terry. And she leaves. Terry calls from his friend Max's immediately after that and asks Bruce, "Why are the cops after me?" Bruce says, "Well, what do you think was going to happen? You murdered Mad Stan, Terry." Terry says, "What? I didn't kill him. All I did was hit him with my elbow." Bruce says, "Well, that's not what Barbara says, and Barbara wouldn't lie." And Terry says, "Oh, so I would?" Bruce is like, "All right, fine. I'll tell you what, I'm going to pull up the video. I'm going to pull up the footage from the hotel. I'm going to take a look at this."
I wish Bruce would have been like, "Well, I don't believe you would, but you did spend those 3 months in juvie for being a hero."
So Bruce is going to investigate this. He orders Terry to stay put at his friend Max's house in the meantime, and he's going to figure out what really happened in the hotel, if it's at all possible. So Bruce Wayne is quite the computer guru, tech guy. He has a special little program that he can just tell it, "Hey, I need you to pull up the footage from the Grand Hotel," or whatever the hotel's called, and "I need the parking garage footage between 10 and 11, something like that. So the footage comes right up. He just gets that on his screen, except we have a blank spot right after Batman deactivates the device and we don't know what happened. The next thing we see in the footage is Batman getting shot at and running away. So there's a really important link here in the middle of that Bruce Wayne just can't access.
Somebody threw a chafe grenade.
Something happened. So Terry is pacing in Max's room all the while. The phone rings. It's Bruce. He says, "Yeah, I'm going to tell you what we just showed on the show, which is that some kind of electric interference has made it impossible to really happen. And so we're just not ready to resolve this plot line yet."
Sure.
And Bruce says, "I've just got to enhance it, I've got to enhance the video." That doesn't happen quickly. So we're going to need to draw this out. And while it's enhancing, I say we go pay a visit to old dead Mad Stan. Very next scene, Terry is back in his Batman gear, and he's entering some kind of industrial building, which I guess is the city morgue, through a drain pipe from the roof. Inside, he bursts out of the vent, just completely destroys it.
Yeah, he's really solid snaking around in there. And if you go past the one point, you look down, you can see Meryl Silverberg, and she's doing sit-ups. But you keep going, and that's where you meet the DARPA chief. But it's not really the DARPA chief. It turns out it's Decoy Octopus pretending to be the DARPA chief, because the DARPA chief, the actual one, who's Sigint, one of the founding members of the Patriots, who of course was friends with and helped Naked Snake, who later became Big Boss during the events of Snake Eater. He was actually being tortured by Revolver Ocelot. But by this point, Revolver Ocelot was a double agent, and Sigint knew him, aka the DARPA chief. So therefore, Ocelot accidentally killed him. So then they had to put Decoy Octopus in there.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened in this Batman Beyond episode.
What Terry should have done is you should have backed out and gone back in and done that a couple times, because each time you do it, Meryl takes off more clothes. Before long, she's just doing sit-ups in underwear, because Hideo Kojima is a fucking creep.
That is quite spicy.
Yeah.
That didn't happen in Batman Beyond either.
Most of that didn't happen.
They had to cut it out for time. That's all it was.
Otherwise, it's all there.
No, but an excellent job of wrangling in a Metal Gear Solid reference, and it's well done.
Well, I had my chafe grenades earlier, but
I didn't get that one. Okay.
It's from Metal Gear.
All right, now I know.
You throw them and the cameras don't work anymore. They go, and they look around and you can sneak past.
Makes your skin feel like it's been rubbed against raw.
Lotion. Solid Snake flavored lotion.
I'd
Flavor.
probably buy that. I don't know. I just out of curiosity.
It would be a keepsake for sure.
Yeah.
Cool.
And the name implies you should eat the lotion. Because if it has a flavor, you're going to taste it.
And it's solid, so it's really hard to rub on.
Yeah,
Solid
that
lotion.
part sucks. You're kind of working on it all day.
Bruce points Terry to B-15.
When you see the faded sign on the wait, that's B something else.
52.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah, that's right.
B-52, because
But I knew
That's the
exactly
plane,
what
right?
you were talking
is
about.
that the bomber or is it a B-2? No, B-2 is from Star Wars. Sorry. That's the B-2 super
So many, yeah.
battle droids.
Okay, but is the bandana plane the B-52s?
I think so.
Okay. I'm not sure in the moment, but I'm going to trust you guys.
The Stan Shack. That's where Mad Stan just yells a lot.
I'm kind of a Stan.
Batman finds the door locked when he arrives, but he's got a pretty fancy device for that, which is you just put a thing on the door and it unlocks it.
It's a Simon. Do you remember those old toys where the lights light up?
I didn't know
in
they
patterns?
unlocked doors, though. That's news to me.
When you were a kid, you just didn't understand their true intention.
It reminded
for criminals.
That's why it didn't work out for them long-term sales-wise. It reminded me of the Wonder Woman episode where they have that device that just makes the lock disappear. It just materializes it.
The disintegrator. And but in scientific terms, they're like, the molecules disappear. No, you just made it go away. You used a Neil Breen effect.
It's a very goofy thing for trying to act like Batman's, a hands-on detective out there doing crazy stuff, and really he just puts that in the door and, it's unlocked now. That's it.
Well, he's continually flummoxed by doors. This is the second time in the episode where he's like, a door, what can I do?
He does seem like that's the end of his search, where he's like, the door's locked. But then he just puts that on there. And
well, you know what? Maybe we'll figure out what happened with Mad Stan one day. I hope they don't catch me and arrest me for murder.
The spooky music continues to play as he enters, and this is quite a build-up. There's a skeleton there, and he keeps bumping into it. And
please play its ribcage like a xylophone. Just do it, Batman.
Bruce points Batman to the location of Mad Stan's corpse, which is in JJ something. There's a bunch of bodies, and you just have to open the seal and pull it open, basically. So Bruce has found where Mad Stan is and says, well, we'll figure out what happened to him when we get the corpse out. And Terry says, they haven't done the autopsy yet because there's some information on there that says it hasn't been performed. And Bruce says, good, we can do our own.
Get your scalpel, Terry.
Come on, kid, cut open that body.
So it turns out all they have to do is just scan it so that Terry's in luck there. He doesn't have to actually open the body or anything. But when Batman opens the storage container, there's no body inside at all. Batman hears a noise and attempts to investigate, but just as he decides it was imagination, an alarm panel opens on its own and seems to trigger, kind of all by itself.
And by the way, on his grave, it says his full name, Stan's. It's Stanley Lebowski, which got a little chuckle out of me.
Didn't notice that.
Strong men also cry.
This is a much more, I would say, ambitious man than the dude.
So the panel's open, the alarm's gone off. Batman thinks he may have tripped something, but in any case, the lights are red, the siren's flashing. Something's happening here and it's not good. So Batman's running away at full speed. And as soon as he reaches the roof, we see the police have arrived on the scene and they've got him pinpointed with some sort of helicopter, hovercraft, futuristic airplane sort of thing that the cops flying, like spaceships, sort of.
The sort of thing that if you're an ER, you might go back inside if you see it.
Well, there's so many of them too, but everywhere Batman goes, there's a hovercraft with a spotlight. Goes somewhere else, there's a hovercraft with a spotlight. Commissioner Gordon comes on the megaphone to tell him, hey, Batman, we've got you surrounded. Just go ahead and surrender. Batman says, no, I don't think I'll surrender. He tries to run, immediately gets shot down and plunges off the building and lands on one of those hovercrafts where they then have an automatic rope tie him to the hull. So he's caught. That's the end of Batman. Except by the time the hovercraft lands, he's already gone. Then the rope has been cut. There is no Batman.
During this scene, Batman says two different things that made me dislike him a lot. One of them was, surrender is not in my vocabulary, which is a sort of I don't feel pain type of expression in my view. And then the second one is, oh, I'm fragged.
Ugh.
What is that? Is that a phrase that people said only in 2000?
I think so, because, you frag some baddies in Call of Duty or whatever.
So he's just saying he's fucked, right? Like, isn't that, oh no, it's
like saying you're fucked if you want to sound annoying.
Stupid, yeah.
Yeah, if you want to be a douche about it. He also throws a grenade at some point, a smoke grenade, and the way the cops get rid of the smoke is on the big hovercraft things, a little panel opens, and it's just a fan. And then the fan blows it away.
That's not much.
Why would you install that in the thing? Like, oh, we got to have a fan in everyone.
Well, I just had it. I wanted to put it to use.
My favorite part of all this is how when he does escape the rope, they don't initially know where he is. And then Commissioner Gordon's like, turn on the UV searchlight or something. So they search for the invisible Batman, which is what he is. And he's just like right there.
Yeah.
He didn't even get very far.
Turn on Batman Finder that we've invented from the last 5 episodes.
And for some reason, he turned this thing on and sat there. So it's like, oh, there he is. He's right by you.
Oh, man, I should have thought to move.
But also, they don't see a certain someone.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah, the UV, the infrared thing or whatever, it doesn't find every person in this area. That's for sure.
Person? Maybe. Could be mystical.
Caught again. Batman commandeers a hovercraft and awkwardly flies it away, kind of crashing into multiple spaceships on the way out, and then finally gets out of there.
What is the Gotham Police Department budget?
All of the city's budget.
A dozen hovercraft and thousands of cops, and they're constantly shooting their guns.
Every image of Gotham and every Batman, it really does seem like a police state.
Yeah. Also, you can pronounce it Gotham.
You could?
Different kind of town, though. That's the kind of town where a Dexter Jetster might thrive on his ham omelet.
They're communicating with Bruce as he pilots this weird vehicle contraption. Batman receives orders to get rid of the hovercraft as soon as he can because they've got a tracer on that and find the underground tunnel in Old Town under the Majestic. It's a lot of instructions.
And Jim Carrey's there.
He's painting.
Yeah, he's
doing
like,
his
I love
bad
this
paintings.
place or something. I don't know what that movie's about.
I think they think he's someone he's not. And then at the end, he's like, okay, maybe that is my past. And at the end, he's not.
You find out
It
he
turns
wasn't
out,
that
no,
guy.
it's not the guy they thought he was at all.
But then it turns out it's actually all a TV show.
Oh, yeah. And Noah Emmerich's
And
there.
he was the Mask.
Yep.
But not the Mask Jr. or Son of the Mask. That's it.
No.
So Batman attempts to follow the instructions, but I don't know, as far as I could tell, he didn't really get that far at all because he didn't get underground or anything. And then Commissioner Gordon comes and says like, aha, I found you again. But honestly, Batman sucks.
He's bad at this. He's on a roof too, which is overground. It's the opposite of where he's supposed to be.
Maybe he just did like what I would do and couldn't find the tunnel, in the heat of the moment and is lost.
Which is very funny, the idea of a superhero being like, logistically, my directions are I'm all turned around.
My internal compass is off.
Yeah. I'm bad at this sort of thing, okay?
Thankfully, here we get a little bit more of that boomerang thing again, which gets him out of this situation because he just uses it to chop their guns in half. And the cops can't shoot at him and he escapes again. Not very far.
What happens is Batman's in the middle and cops come from alley 1 off to the right and then cops come from alley 2 off to the left. So they are on opposite sides of him. So what do? They shoot their guns at each other with each other on the opposite sides. Not very smart.
Yeah, it seems like that could backfire. I mean, quite literally.
I think you're saying that there's a little bit of incompetence all around, and maybe the scene itself is full of incompetence.
A-cab.
Could be hitting on
All
something
cops
here.
are Batman.
All cops are incompetent.
What if Brad Garrett was in this scene, like as his cop?
Too big to draw.
He's bonking his head on
He wouldn't
stuff.
get under that underground tunnel.
He and Mad Stan are the same height.
Meanwhile, Bruce finally has done the enhancing that he needed to.
How long did that take?
Like 2 days. The security footage is now clear. We get the rest of it. And it's really not honestly showed that well, but Bruce Wayne watches it and can determine that I don't think there was any time between Batman detonating the nuke and Barbara shooting at him in the actual footage. So that determines Bruce looking at that and being like, well, why would Barbara have not seen what is obviously what happened?
It's like you could see his brain. It's that kid's toy where there's shapes and you put the shape in the hole and he's trying to bang that
This
square.
is sort of like when they
circle.
give it to a monkey and tell the monkey to do that.
They're
Well-
like, you'll get a treat if you get it done.
You might think that, but suddenly he figures out exactly how to find him, where when he watches it, he goes, freeze it right there. Enhance.
Mr. Freeze isn't in this
Freeze.
one.
Mm.
He's spotted a little shadow in the background, just kind of lurking way back there. Bruce Wayne gives us a couple simple instructions. Enlarge.
Who'd you guys think
Enhance.
this was at first? I thought, honestly, it could be Celine Dion.
This is such a reach to explain this whole thing away with. There's a supervillain that
Oh, another one we
misled
haven't
everyone.
introduced.
that at this point I'm just like, whatever, just let's get this over
It
with.
could be Phosphorus Man.
Dr. Phosphorus.
All right, let me posit this scenario. You guys determine whether or not it's plausible, logical,
Mhm.
whatever it may be. We've seen a lot of Gotham. Gotham's a dirty city.
Oh, it's dirty.
It's industrial. There's pollution and cars and hovercrafts. You got to inject some countryside into that occasionally. You got to inject some swamp into that occasionally.
I like where this might be going.
We see the silhouette, and it's wearing a little hat.
How long is its face?
Its face is far longer than you would anticipate a face
Longer
ever
than a
being.
human face.
Much longer. And then you see a little snippers of crayfish as Leatherhead holds it
Yeah.
and causes, I don't know how he does it, but
Batman, I'm here to help you take a bite out of crime.
I'm going to make it look like you don't kill that boy.
One of these days, we're going to talk about Leatherhead proper, and it's going to be, it's going to feel like a homecoming.
I kind of like it better is just we never follow through on it. We
Never
just
do it.
always bring him up and it
Yeah.
never goes anywhere.
We have a few things like that have started to develop, like 5 things, essentially.
Hey, boy, Batman, what do you think of the taste of this gumbo?
Bruce, what is he saying? Bruce, come through on the radio. I don't know what this man is.
So we actually don't have any idea what Bruce has discovered here, but Bruce is like, oh, fuck, when he sees his face just drops open.
And I think that we're supposed to be like on the edge of our seats. Like,
Yeah.
I can't wait to see what the big reveal is that Bruce knows and we don't.
I don't even remember. We talked about him, Spellbinder. I was like, I don't even remember what his name is. But yeah, Bruce is clearly like, shit, that's the Spellbinder. He's back there doing all this. Well, as you might have guessed, because we're nearing the end of the episode, Bruce's discovery here is just in time because the police are still, and I guess once again, fighting Batman. So Bruce tries to call Barbara right as she's shooting at 17-year-old Terry McGinnis, and she says, "You're not supposed to have this number. Fuck off." And Bruce is like, "Wait, I have something important to tell you, but I don't want to tell it to you until you give me permission." And she's like, "I'm not giving you permission." And she
And
hangs
it's hard
up
for
on
me
him.
because ultimately I'm a boy who needs an adult to tell me what to do.
It's one of those things you always complain about, Ryan, where this is really important, but he won't just say it.
Won't just do
He's
it.
like, hold on.
I'm going to hang up. The episode needs to last a little longer.
So yeah, he realizes, okay, no go on Barbara. I'm going to call Terry. So he calls Terry, and Terry says, "Yeah, I'm getting shot at. Not a good time, Bruce." And Bruce says, "Hold on, listen to me. Put your visor through a frequency scan because the person behind all of this is probably there right fucking now."
Look for someone mischievous.
Someone with maybe a mallet and a bunch of watermelon. He's mischievous.
True.
Sometimes he pulls out other fruits.
Yeah, you're going to get seed all over you if you
Ew.
see old.
Oh. The seed of Gallagher.
Oh,
Ugh.
Gallagher too.
So Bruce is convinced that someone is hiding behind an illusion there on this scene. And
An illusion, you might
Oh
say.
my.
Batman, as soon as he turns on his frequency scan, Batman spots the culprit immediately and announces the villain's name out loud this time for us. As the viewers, we get to find out who this is. Spellbinder! Feigning surrender, Batman uses this momentary ceasefire to hurl his boomerang, again, right behind Commissioner Gordon's head.
She doesn't duck or anything.
No, she's like, oh shit, I didn't think about this. Where it makes contact with Spellbinder's, I don't know what this is, so I called it an illusion sphere.
That's better than ovum, which is what I wrote down.
Magical orb.
So with that device broken, Spellbinder is just plain as day to everyone there. And Barbara turns around and is like, oh shit, it's
It's a guy
Spellbinder.
in a dumb costume.
Which apparently they all know him by name.
Yeah.
Like, ah, it's Spellbinder.
what's up?
That's just Spellbinder. Ah, it's fine.
It's, he was in Cheers, Norm and Sam, Spellbinder, Diane.
I know they're running out of time, but Commissioner Gordon's chain of events here is getting the boomerang thrown at her, turning around, it's Spellbinder, and then turning back to Batman and saying, guess she didn't do it. And that
Well,
all,
you know what? I was wrong.
Wah, wah.
it all happens in the span of 10 seconds. And so Spellbinder just gets the one line.
You were so ready to believe the worst. It was easy.
Okay, bye.
Commissioner Gordon says, take him away, he's annoying.
Love the arrogance of the "it was easy" line read.
She apologizes to Batman, and Batman still has that botched sting thing on his mind, so he's like, yeah, I've been there, girl. And then he leaves. Tells her, don't worry about it. In the final scene, Terry's on the phone with Bruce again and says, Commissioner Gordon's made everything right, and he's been issued a student service medal, whatever that is. And I wrote this down specifically. Terry, because of this student service medal, is in Shui City with his mom now.
What is that? Because it makes me think of Wayne's
don't
World
know.
and Schwing.
Is it real?
Shui City.
I liked in the last episode that they didn't try to do whatever the fuck this is, where they're like, Shui City fragged. Yeah.
Do you think they made this up as the thing that would be in vogue in 2040, or did someone say Shui at this time at 2000?
I don't like how it sounds in relation to a mother either.
Yeah, I don't know that I want to Shui City my mom at any point.
Well, anyway, they're going out to a celebratory dinner because of the student service medal.
What kind of dinner do you think it is?
Mm.
A delicious etouffee?
I was gonna make a gumbo reference, but then I don't think I should.
I think I actually know what it might be, having seen Demolition Man, which has told me a bit about the future. It's probably Taco Bell.
Oh God, that sounds awesome.
That sounds pretty awesome.
It
I think
does.
I'd like to be in Shui City if I can get Taco Bell out
We're
of it.
gonna be after we're done talking about what happens to Batman. He dies.
Last 30 seconds just dies.
No, there's a great little thing here where Terry tries to thank Bruce Wayne for believing in him when no one else would, and Bruce Wayne goes, yeah, fuck off. I don't really give a shit. And he says, by the way, hear what happened to Mad Stan? Terry's like, no, what happened?
He founded Apple.
We cut to Mad Stan. for the very final scene, who's in the middle of blowing up a big, important building and he's having the time of his, so happy. He's having the time of his life.
He's leaping about.
So, of course, that's not what Mad Stan is really doing. That's just mentally. Physically, he's in some sort of globe test tube thing hooked up to wires, and a group of police officers are just staring at him in wonder.
Bit of a Vanilla Sky situation.
Yeah. Did I just miss something, or do we not know for sure why Mad Stan is in this situation?
He's just in prison and he gets to play as Oculus Prime.
Yeah,
That's
I
all
think
it
this is the future jail situation.
Okay, that sounds nice, though.
It's actually something that I've suggested for a criminal type president we've had. Perhaps we show a screen to it while it's in jail.
That would work so well,
then
too.
that says how important it is.
That's all he wants.
Yeah.
And then everyone else can be fine.
Yeah, and he doesn't have to know. He doesn't barely anyway.
You know, I used to think this concept of foolery, of like tricking yourself and like when it's not real, it's like, no, don't do that now. I'm like, just let me believe something nice.
Once I understood how, let's say, rigged the system was to begin with, I understood that whatever peace you can get in this world is worth it, man.
Exactly.
I learned this from Mad Stan.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a thing I've come to over the years. So I actually thought that Mad Stan kind of has it nice now. He just gets to blow shit up the rest of his life, I guess.
Just gets to be like a fun-loving dream terrorist.
Maybe he gets it out of his system in 20 years and he can be reformed and get back out there. And then they take his head and put it in something else.
Although he keeps saying, I'll do it again. He's
True.
not mincing words.
He needs a lawyer. He's incriminating himself.
Yeah.
Did you guys like the little line they gave him that was supposed to make him, I guess, less threatening? Is like, no more governments, no more money or whatever. No more economic system, no more jury duty.
That's what it is, yeah. It's
like
very funny.
Because he's, really it's the stupid stuff that bothers him about bureaucracy.
Yeah, and I didn't like that because that lends itself to it undermines his point.
It makes it sound like his complaints are trite.
It
like
does.
It's like, I just don't want to be in jury duty.
Yeah,
I'm
and
gonna
that's
go bomb Congress.
not exactly in line with the thinking.
That is Eyewitness, courtesy of Batman Beyond, which I just never can think of the...
Imagine a vegan Batman. Isn't that like Beyond? Isn't that Beyond Meat like one of the brands?
Sure is. It's good stuff, too.
It's like Batman without the meat in its bones. It's a dumbed down Batman.
Green Batman.
Man-Bat.
So I didn't really know what it was when I picked this, and I didn't know for sure that it was a kid's thing. I mean, I just knew it was an animated Batman, and I thought it'd be different. So gave that one a chance. Bit of a swing and a miss. But we've done it.
We've done it. I think we had fun playing around with it.
I mean, Mad Stan is
Mad
in the canon
Stan
now.
was in there.
I mean, it wasn't worse than Duck Dynasty, was it?
No, I'll watch
no.
this any day over that.
That was a bit of a crime.
So we've got a few people that we can talk about forever now. We'll always remember Stephanie Lake. We'll always remember Mad Stan.
I think Van will always be looking for jokes about the cold to tell.
Sure.
Mhm.
You got one more for the road?
Guess it's chilly out.
Ooh. Well, remember how I
Swing
said
and a miss.
they were only getting better earlier?
Oh, all right, give me a minute.
It's no way we're going to talk about Batman Beyond next week.
If looks could chill.
Oh,
Did you write down a bunch?
A couple. Some I came up with on the moment, but I did write a few down.
Okay.
I
Well, I
wanted
actually
to make
like
sure.
it better that we had to wait for that one.
You know what they say, warm hearts melt icy barriers.
Can I just have that to frame?
Of course.
I want to look at those when I'm having a bad day.
do you think that some people really like this episode, that it's polarizing?
Ooh.
It's a cold word.
While our Batman Bed Bath & Beyond journey has come to a close, you don't have to end your relationship with us like we are going to with Batman Beyond.
You do have to end your relationship with Batman. We request that of you.
Well, I was going to say they could watch it, but there's no need. We've covered all you need to know with that. You can find us on the internet. We're all over the place. We're in the internet. We are on bootuinc.com. That's our website. It's BOOTUINC.com. I'm going to use Van's way there. There's a whole bunch of shit, and we worked really hard on it. And if you go there, you will really enjoy yourself. If you like the podcast, you'll like us in that form too. There's also a link to our Discord on there, so feel free to click on that, hop into our Discord server, and say hello. Couple other things you can find us on too. We have free content that you wouldn't hear in the regular podcast feed on patreon.com/BooToInc. It is all free. You can donate to our cause of podcasting greatness if you would like to, if you're moved to, but it's all free and it's available at all times. You're also on YouTube. You should also give us a review on your podcast app of your choice, whether it's iTunes or Spotify or whatever you use. go on there, give us a 5-star rating, and I promise you we will get some kind of a tattoo. My body's going to be full of so many tattoos, I just don't even know what I'll have room for, but I'll put Mad Stan in there. That's fine. With that being said, we have plans to go a different direction, I would assume. We're going to do something very different to the next couple episodes. Van, why don't you tell us about where you've decided, where your instincts are taking us next?
I've decided that I want to jump into the past, maybe the future. I'm not sure. I think it's the past, but there will be jumping.
I'll jump
into a different time period.
Okay.
And one might ask yourself, what did Ant-Man and the Wasp
Quantum Leap.
Quantum Leap is the show we're covering.
The Jump. I was about to say it, and then you confirmed it.
Yeah, I'm going to cover Quantum Leap. This is a show I watched when I was a kid. Did you guys watch it?
I know nothing about this.
I don't know anything either.
Loved it when I was a kid?
I'm assuming it's sci-fi just like Babylon 5. Same concept.
Not that strong, though. It's more grounded in reality, if you will. It's not futuristic in that regard. He's just a scientist who discovers how to travel through time, and what happens is he leaps into other people's bodies at different periods of history.
Like a shapeshifter, kind of. Well, not really.
But he takes on their shape, but we see him. It's, what the hell's his name? Scott Bakula. Is that right?
Yeah, sounds right.
Yeah.
He's a guy.
Yeah, Scott Dracula is, of course, the star of the show. And then there's another guy's handler, Sam something, and then he's got a little device he calls Ziggy. This is all what I remember from when I was a
comics.
Kid. Yep, same one. And, he's just having an okay day.
Yeah, it's a little tough, but
it's never that
he'll
bad.
Get through.
Anyway, got 2 episodes for us. First off, we're going to have season 3, episode 17, Glitter Rock. Brian, I think you'll in particular be excited for this one.
Well, I mean, it sounds appealing, and I might add, I feel as if I've quantum leapt through time, and we've already covered quantum leap.
I feel like there's a lot of episodes you could have picked that wouldn't have been as good, especially one in particular.
One very particular episode that was just kind of boring.
So this one seems like a good choice.
Well, let's see. I'll read it out. Sam becomes a member of a rock band who is stabbed to death after a concert by one of a long list of 3 suspects.
Yeah, this sounds like it rules. I bet there's face paint.
There's probably some songs about redheads, face paint. It's going to be awesome to see. And then next up, we have season 4, episode 7, The Wrong Stuff. You might say it's the right stuff. I say, no, it's the wrong stuff. He jumps back to January 24th, 1961. The Fates make a monkey out of Sam when he leaps into Bobo, an astro chimp who must avoid succumbing to the experiments of an Air Force neurologist.
I wonder if he knows Gargantua.
He must. He's a chimp.
Well, this will be something. I don't know what to expect.
I think that's a good way to put it is, who knows?
Van, did you start this out saying, well, this is more grounded in reality?
More so than Babylon. Oh, wait. No, Babylon 5 is considered like a very scientific show. There's not aliens and shit in it.
No Geor.
There's no Geor, sadly. There's a chimp. And I think at one point he gets inside of a woman and he's like, oh, I'm a woman, which is very dated.
Oh,
but we'll
chimp
see.
needs to get a manicure, shit like that.
Yeah, exactly.
What if he gets into a baby and he's like, wah, I pooped?
I think he is a baby, at least in one episode, which isn't unlike that Goosebumps episode we covered.
I was just thinking that. Did they go to Anthony's at any point?
Get a cuckoo clock of doom.
Side note, what do you guys say we head to the future and get some kind of futuristic meal?
Deal.
Like Taco Bell.
Yo quiero Taco Bell.